Hello everyone. Welcome to week 6. So, 5.1, exploring equations of a different line. Alright, so this is mostly a cleanup general information section. Okay, the first thing I'd like you to realize is that when slope is a positive number, okay, slope is a positive number, then the line will climb from bottom left, or Q3, up to Q1, upper right. The Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, basically it's splitting the coordinate system into 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4 were just a way to split up the coordinate system into 4 sections. Okay? And it goes counterclockwise. Alright, if the m, or slope, is negative, it goes from quadrant 2 to quadrant 4, or upper left to bottom right. Alright, so that's one thing you need to know, or at least to remember. Different looks of the same line. Now I think we spoke about this before, but here are 2 equations. Okay, slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b, and semi-standard. And the reason it's called semi-standard is because the 6 should have been on the other side of the equal sign to make it a standard notation. Anyway, it's the same line because if I rewrite this equation, the semi-standard equation, first I bring the 5x over, then I divide each piece by -3. Now it is in the y equals mx plus b look, and you'll notice it is the exact same equation. So, same line, different look. Special lines, special cases, okay? Now, I mentioned this before, and I said we would come back to it later. Well, now is later. So take a look at this equation, x equals 2. You'll notice that there is no y in this equation. Like, normally, there's an x and a y together, but this time, no y is shown. Well, what does this mean? This means that the x is locked. It can only be a 2. So, when I do my table of values, you'll notice it doesn't matter what y goes with it, x will always be locked. Well, 2, -3, 2, -2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. You'll notice what it does is it draws a straight line where x is equal to 2. X is locked. You'll notice that when x is the only variable in play, it is parallel to the y-axis. Okay? Now, another special case, similar, when y is locked. Okay? In this case, y cannot change because it is locked. X is not in this equation. That means you can bring any x to the table. It doesn't matter. The partner will always be -1. So here's what y equal to -1 looks like. And you'll notice whichever variable is locked, it's parallel to the other variable's axes. Alright, so that's another special case to pay attention to. Finally, we talked about this before. A consistent linear system means 2 lines will cross someplace. For this to happen, it doesn't matter which fashion the equations are given to you. What does matter is that the 2 slopes are different. It doesn't have to be a plus-minus either. They just have to be different slopes. And the lines will cross someplace on the plane. Okay? All right, inconsistent means that the 2 slopes are parallel, but it's inconsistent because there are no points of intersection. You can think of train tracks, subway tracks, whichever, okay? They will never cross. That's an inconsistent system. There's no solution. Finally, many points of intersection. I'm sorry guys, this looks like it got cut off a bit. Anyway, basically, the 2 lines could be given to you in different methods, or different looks, but when you actually graph them, you'll notice they're right on top of each other because they're the identical line. Well, what this is many points of intersection, because no matter where I stop on the line, it intersects with the other line, okay? So the way they sneak this in, more times than not, is that it's the exact same equation, just rewritten differently, so it looks different, all right? So anyway, how do I know? They have the same slope, and that's usually the tip-off. And then I look to see if they have the same y-intercept, okay? All right, so tonight's homework, or this section's homework, is here. And again, I tell you straight, you don't need to do every question, okay, unless you want to. But you should be doing at least 1 out of every 4. And make sure that you're selective. Make sure that all the questions you do, if you can help it, have different styles, different looks. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And therein lies 5.1. Adios.